The second season has finally reached its grand finale. What exactly is the Silo's safeguard procedure, and what will become of Silo number 18? In order to force the higher-ups to reveal the truth, Da Zhuang launched a wild plan. He was even willing to blow up the Silo's generator to achieve his goal. However, their plan was entirely intercepted by the mayor. Immediately, the mayor deployed all available police forces to the checkpoint, planning to take preemptive action. Soon enough, the guards launched an offensive downward, and the two sides confronted each other in the narrow corridor. Yet the mechanical department's forces were no match. Led by Da Zhuang, they quickly disintegrated. Amid the crowd, Brother Beard was captured and taken to the dining hall, where he was pressed by his apprentice about the situation below. In an ambiguous and perfunctory manner, he replied, "There is nothing down there." Shortly afterward, Da Zhuang and his cohorts were taken to a cell, and Old Aunt even met her wife. Only then did everyone realize that it was Old Aunt who had betrayed them. They had assumed that Big Mom would leave with Old Aunt, but she adamantly resisted the traitor. Meanwhile, just as Xiao Wei was about to return to his silo, Solo recalled a potential solution. Perhaps the silo's safeguard procedure could save them. According to Solo's recollection, the safeguard was a pipeline. The two quickly consulted a map. Solo then revealed a shocking secret. The pipeline would release a massive amount of toxic gas that would kill all 10,000 people inside the silo, so they had to block it. After comparing the pipeline routes, they determined that it was hidden on the 14th level. At that moment, the guards discovered a large amount of explosives at the bottom of the silo. These explosives were all tied to the generator, and if detonated, the silo would spiral completely out of control. During their inspection, the guards found that someone had already cut the fuses on the explosives. Although things were temporarily safe, the people inside could not risk encountering the crowd. If anyone threw explosives toward the bottom, they would likewise detonate. Just as the mayor thought he had the situation under control, Old Aunt revealed the truth. She had long ago signaled to Da Zhuang through hand gestures about the surveillance. All of the plans were nothing more than a performance. Meanwhile, Paul, the silo's chief of police, managed to escape with the help of his colleagues, and together they successfully infiltrated the upper levels of the silo. Old Bai, the silo's doctor, deceived the guards by carrying explosives. However, during an inspection, he discovered that the timer was missing. Without the timer, they could only detonate the explosives manually, and doing so would be a death sentence. In order to support the revolution, Old Bai resolutely detonated the explosives. Although the generator did not explode as expected, the explosion in the upper levels still caused significant damage. At that moment, Xiao Wei, located in an adjacent silo, heard the commotion and soon realized that a riot had broken out in his silo. Time was of the essence, and he had to hurry back to silo number 18. The situation quickly reversed. Da Zhuang, working with both insiders and outsiders, freed everyone who had been locked in the dining hall. Because the explosives had destroyed the stairs over 2 floors, the guards below were unable to return quickly. Da Zhuang then led the crowd in a charge toward the IT department. In a desperate bid, the mayor could only order the captain to seek support from Baldy. At that moment, Brother Beard found the mayor and disclosed his discovery. If artificial intelligence were to overhear, they would all die. Thus he urged the mayor to stay calm. Upon learning the truth, the mayor collapsed instantly, completely relinquishing his power. Baldy, who had witnessed their conversation, asked the mayor what Brother Beard had said. In response, the mayor directly appointed him as his successor and handed him the silo's keys. With the mayor's sudden exit, the IT department crumbled on its own, and soon the mechanical department's personnel took over. However, incited by Kennedy, the crowd began heading straight outside. To Xiao Wei's surprise, when he took out his protective suit, he found it riddled with holes. Enraged, he cursed. But fortunately, Solo still had another suit. Just as Xiao Wei was about to retrieve it, he discovered that it was missing. It turned out that Solo had worn the suit to test its waterproof seal in water. After making repairs, the suit was now in good condition. Afterwards, Solo and Xiao Wei bid a reluctant farewell, with Xiao Wei promising that no matter what happened, he would do everything possible to return. The mayor's erratic behavior left Baldy puzzled, so he went directly to Brother Beard to uncover the truth. To his surprise, even when faced with death threats, Brother Beard refused to say a word. Helpless, Baldy had no choice but to head to the basement to look for answers. Now, with no escape, the mayor hid in the police station, but the enraged crowd would not let him go. The Zhuang tried to stop them, yet Kennedy incited the people to block the door. Fortunately, Paul managed to slip inside amid the chaos. At the entrance, he pleaded with the mayor to reveal the truth. However, under Kennedy's instigation, Paul was also dragged out. The police station was the final checkpoint leading directly to the surface. If the crowd were to break through, they would open the airlock, and the highly toxic gas on the surface would then engulf everyone in the silo. At this critical moment, Xiao Wei's figure appeared on a screen. The excited crowd suddenly fell silent, then began cheering in excitement. However, Xiao Wei immediately threw cold water on the celebration. He displayed a pre-written cloth in front of the camera, warning everyone not to go outside because it was still dangerous. Next, Xiao Wei attempted to pry open the sealed gate, but no matter how hard he tried, it wouldn't budge. Just as he grew frustrated, the gate suddenly opened automatically. To everyone's shock, the one who opened the gate turned out to be the mayor. Wearing a protective suit, he left the silo, and even blamed Xiao Wei, insisting that it was because of him that the riot had erupted. Xiao Wei wanted to save the silo, but the mayor knew that soon the higher-ups would pump toxic gas into the silo. The so-called safeguard procedure was nothing more than a way to kill them. Thus, leaving now was also a means of self-preservation. Xiao Wei claimed that he had discovered a method that might resolve the issue. These words made the mayor hesitate for a moment. At that instant, the door behind him suddenly closed, and Xiao Wei rushed in without hesitation. In the very next second, the chamber was engulfed in raging flames. The scene then shifted back to ancient times, with the ominous clouds of nuclear war looming over the earth, and all Americans gripped by fear. "A man has a date tonight," someone remarked. When the two parties met, their entire focus was on nuclear war. Through their conversation, it was revealed that the United States and Iran had ultimately resolved their issues peacefully. Though, incidentally, the Earth's ecosystem was also destroyed. In the final moments of the story, Baldy walked into the basement with his family. He wanted to save the silo, and I told him that they were on the same page. However, Baldy and his son had to leave first, as I needed to speak privately with Baldy's wife. If Xiao Wei managed to quell the riot in the silo, who would then be the one to lead this human experiment? That answer can only be revealed in the third episode.